All right, we are pleased to be joined now by Battlefords North Stars forward Jackson Allan. Jackson, thanks so much for taking the time to join us today. We really appreciate it. How's it going?
It's going great. It's been a good week of practices, getting Andy up for the weekend. So thanks for having me on too.
Yeah, for sure. And we're excited to have you on. Obviously, the Battlefords North Stars are playing some great hockey as of late. Have been really on a tear in the kind of the second half of the season. Let's talk a little bit about this past weekend. Obviously, a rematch of last year's final, two wild games up at the Whitney Forum. Would love to get your perspective of what was it like playing in those games. And obviously, you guys must be pretty happy to get the split up at a very difficult place to play.
Yeah, it is. It is a different place to play. I don't know. It's exciting going back up there after what we able to do up there last year. It's honestly one of the funnest places to play in the league, in my opinion. It's tight. The fans are right over you. It's so loud in that rink. It's not hard to get dialed in for a game when you go up there. Other than that, I mean, they're a good club, and getting a split is nice. But I mean, I think we're shooting for more coming playoff time if we can meet them again. So yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
No doubt about it. And obviously, last year, like you kind of alluded to it, obviously, you guys won the Canterra Seeds Cup up at the Whitney Forum, and it was a magical run last year, of course, in your first year, first full year with the Battlefords North Stars. Maybe just talk to us a little bit about what you learned from your first year last year, because obviously it was such an impressive run for the Battlefords North Stars and probably a bit of an eye opener for you as a rookie.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a jump from the AAA league. It's
Right.
and a lot of different things play into it. It's not all about just having these great players like we did have. Obviously, you talk about Kess and you talk about
Hmm.
Jake Southgate, Doler, and Keane. You have these unbelievable players, even like Tynan and those guys and Goldie. But it's just it almost showed me a different side of it, how you can have such great guys, but you also have to have such great room guys to keep everybody dialed in into the long run. I think that's was what really put us over the edge and able to be dialed in through playoffs the whole time and not give up games because we knew what we wanted to do. We had an unbelievable culture all year
Hmm.
that it wasn't there was no shot of a doubt that I was getting like homesick or run down. It was just everybody had each other's backs. It seemed like, and everybody was completely bought into the system. So that's what I noticed the most coming out of AAA into this league, how important that aspect is.
For sure. And I mean, last year you had so many great players on that team, especially players that you could learn from. Players like obviously Captain Jake Southgate, mentioned Cass, of course, Kean Bell's back as well. But I'd like to know for you personally, from your rookie season now into your second season here in the SJHL, how have you seen your game personally grow and develop into your second season?
I think I've grown tremendously. I think now taking on a higher role, like
Hmm.
roles that those guys were having last year, I think it's important that I was able to transition into playing a little bit better hockey. I mean, like seeing those guys and what they were able to do, it's and practicing with them every day. It's not hard to just pick up little things that they do every day that gives them the success. Like just like being a half a step quicker out of the zone, or being a little bit in a softer area, or faster up the ice. It's just little things like that that you pick up. I think yeah, from that I think I've been able to get a lot better. 'Cause
No doubt
I
about
was
it.
grateful to be
For
able to be
sure.
around those guys.
Now, for some fans that might not know, you come from a hockey family, and your dad was a Vancouver Canucks draft pick. I'd love to know what it was like to have him as a resource and obviously a support system as you come up through minor hockey, going into your junior A career, and what kind of advice he gave you as you kind of started to grow into the hockey player that you are today.
Yeah, honestly, I was hoping I'd be able to talk about my dad. I mean, he's amazing. He's been everything to me. Honestly, he's been the best. Being like coming from what he was able to do in hockey and being able to translate into what I'm doing now, it's
Hmm.
like what he does for me is just insane. It's I can't say enough about how grateful I am for what I have in him as a support role model and stuff like that. He's been the best. Yeah.
Coming from a hockey family with the hockey background that your family does have, is for yourself, is there any pressure because of that? I'm just curious.
No, look, that's honestly one of the things that I'm so grateful about is although we play such a high level
Right.
and we have so many people in my family playing such high levels, you look at like Nolan and Blake and those guys.
That's right.
Um, it's you don't really feel it. It's more of a support, able to like get support from other guys, and um, they more know what you're going through. So it's almost like you can almost feel their sport without actually saying it, or like, if you know what I mean. It's hard to explain, but
Yeah.
like,
Well,
I could see how, like, outside looking in, you could be like, holy, that's a lot of pressure, but it really isn't. It's more nice. It's easier, I
yeah,
think,
no doubt.
honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely, yeah, obviously not many people can say, their dad was an NHL draft pick, and like you said, your brother was playing at
Yeah.
hockey at a high level as well. But that's great to hear. Now you also have, I mentioned the hockey background, but your family also comes from a farming background, and that's kind of what's led into our Golden Sheaf program here in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, brought to you by Canterra Seeds. And I'd love to know what exactly your farming background is with your family, and maybe just tell the viewers and the listeners at home just a little bit about your farming background.
Yes, so I'm from Davidson, so I farm about, I don't know, we usually say around like 16 miles outside of town, and I grew up in Davidson. That's where we live, but we also have a farmhouse in at the farm, and so my farm consists of my dad, my uncle Kenny, and then my grandpa. We have, yeah, that's kind of the three guys all bunched up over there, and that's kind of where I grew up. Most of my time spent as a kid was being at the farm and being involved in a lot of that stuff. I remember my earliest memory was always going out to feed the guys supper, and I remember we used to pack the old farm truck full of food in the box and go out there and park out there, and we'd have to, like, it's almost like a redneck picnic around 6 o'clock for everybody that was either harvesting or seeding. So
For sure.
I mean,
Well,
they're good times. I mean, I'm so lucky to be able to grow up out there.
yeah, and we love telling these stories about, especially the players with farming backgrounds, because obviously Saskatchewan's, built on farmers for the most part. I'd love to know, what does your family do on the farm, and how did you, I guess, help growing up on the farm with your family?
Uh, we do a little bit of both. We're livestock and grain, mostly
Okay.
grain. Um, we started livestock not too long ago. I guess maybe like 10 years ago. That's what I usually do most of the time. I'm usually up at whatever time in the morning, like 7 o'clock, go feed the cows. Especially in COVID when it was real cold. That was tough.
Fair enough.
But yeah, yeah, that was tough. But other than that, I mean, most of the time I'm either combining or grain cart. I'm able to do a lot more now that I've gotten a lot older. I mean, hopefully, I guess
For,
not last year. I wasn't back to a long time, but
yeah, yeah, I was
I
gonna
don't mind
say,
that either.
with your guys'
I
lengthy
don't mind that.
playoff run last year, I don't know how much you didn't get back to the farm until too late, late in the start
Yeah,
of
I
the
know.
farming season. Hey.
Yeah,
Um,
hard to complain about.
Yeah, that's fair. Either way, you're having a good time. I gotta ask, when it comes to coming from a farming background, what kind of benefits do you think, working on the farm as a kid, helping out with your family, had on you as you grew up and even into your hockey career?
Yeah, I think discipline is probably a big part of it. I mean, you do a lot of hard work by yourself. You really get to know yourself. Seems like out there sometimes, and it's not easy doing a lot of the work that we do out there. But it's almost like you find a way to enjoy yourself through the work, and I think that's helped a lot in my hockey career. Going through rough patches, you still have to learn to find something good in it, and know that you're going to get the work done eventually, and you're going to get the benefits out of it eventually. So I think that's what's helped the most. I think.
For sure. Going back to the hockey side of things, maybe just for yourself, obviously you're in your second year with the Battlefords North Stars at your 19-year-old season. But what are your goals, I guess, on the hockey side of things moving forward after junior hockey that you're hoping to accomplish?
Yeah, I think I'm open to accomplish. I want to stay in Canada. I think
Mhm.
so. University hockey in Canada would be awesome. I think that'd be the best.
For,
Obviously, after that, I want to be able to work on the farm more often. I think our plans are, Blake might be coming back too to help work out more. So maybe we can sneak our way into the business a little bit more. We're lucky.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
We'll wrap up the interview. Coming up this weekend, obviously a big one for the Battlefords North Stars. 3 games in 3 nights. Obviously, kind of in the kind of home stretch of the regular season. What do you guys have to do to be successful this weekend in your 3 games in 3 nights?
We just got to stay on the ball. I think we're playing good hockey. I mean, you come off of one of the probably the best game of the season out of Flin Flon.
Yeah.
You have to find a way to get through a 3-game home stretch still playing the same pace of hockey. Like, it's I think we're a pretty unstoppable force. We can play that pace all the time. It's just being able to stay dialed in is super important. I think I kind of touched on it like when I was talking about last year, how important it is to have the right guys. I think we do this year too. A lot of guys coming back know what it takes. So yeah, if we can just stay on the ball and keep playing high pressure hockey, like super fast, like we did in Flin Flon, I think that's what our most important.
For sure.
To be.
Well, Jackson, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. Congratulations on a great season so far and everything you've accomplished so far in your junior A career. And best of luck this weekend and the rest of the way this year with the Battlefords North Stars.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on.